Hello everyone, so welcome back. I'm Douglas Johnson, and today I want to talk a little bit about how to get what you really want from a spiritual perspective. Another way of describing this is reaping what you sow. The golden rule, which is do unto others, and also karma. So all of these things are related, and we'll talk about them in this talk and in the next talk. Before I get into that, though, as always, want to thank from my heart my patrons on Patreon and everyone who has donated via PayPal and Venmo to help me continue doing this work. And I also want to thank everyone on YouTube who gives me the old thumbs up, who comments on the videos, and everyone who subscribes to the channel. All of those things help spread the word. So thank you. All right, so what are you lacking? What would you like more of in your life? What I'm going to recommend, and this comes from, again, study of scripture and working with teachers, try giving others what it is that you desire most. So whatever it is that you really want or you feel is lacking in your life, try giving that to others rather than focusing on trying to get it yourself. And I'll try and explain a little bit what I mean. So for instance, if you want more love, and who couldn't use more love, right? Can you figure out ways to be more loving, to give more love? Most of us desperately want more love, right? Whether we realize it or not. A lot of times you might say that's kind of the real big one, right? That we all ultimately want to feel loved. And most of us will do almost anything for love, approval, and appreciation. Most of us, again, focus on getting these things from other people. And for instance, one way we might do this is our appearance. So we might think if we're more attractive, people will love us. They'll be attracted to us. So we might manipulate our appearance. Another is if we have natural abilities, like if you are a healer, or you're an entertainer, or you have a certain talent or skill, you might try refining and developing that in the hope that others will appreciate what you do and admire what you do, and again, love you, compliment you, appreciate you. And I'll say this may work, at least on the surface. From a surface perspective, we might get a lot of love, appreciation, admiration from others. But here's the catch. Even if it works and others do start loving us and giving us their love, it actually will not satisfy our desire for love. We will not fully believe it and experience it. And why is this? Well, it's because if it comes from outside of ourselves, it ultimately does not scratch our deep spiritual yearning, not ultimately. So one example might be like, think of a rock star or a movie star. And this is someone who is loved, you could say loved by millions of people. And I'm not saying that that's not a real love. I think we really do have an outpouring of love and appreciation for certain celebrities and people that we don't maybe know on a personal basis. If we got to know them on a personal basis, we might not love them anymore. But the love is genuine. The appreciation is genuine. If I know there are certain musicians who, at least for their contribution, I have a real love for them, and that's real. That love is not fake or imagined. Again, personally, I might have a very different relationship with them, but there is a real outpouring of love. So even though many rock stars and celebrities have all this love, a lot of them have had substance abuse problems and other problems, right? And no one who really is experiencing an abundance of love would abuse substances in this way. And many stars, people who get famous, they report actually feeling more alone after they achieve fame and success. So this seems sort of contrary, right? Some of us, when we're young, we actually want to be famous because we want to be loved. We want all of that attention, right? And yet, at least some of the people who get all of that attention report actually feeling more isolated and alone, more lonely, because the people who love them, again, they may love their talent, they may love their gift, but on a personal level, they don't feel necessarily understood or loved. So this method, this approach to feeling loved, it doesn't work. You will still feel empty, and even if you're able to scratch that itch a little bit, maybe you have a very loving spouse or a loving family, and there may be some sense of love there for sure. Deep down, we have a desire for a deeper love, and no one can give that to us. So what I'm suggesting is, instead of looking or demanding love from other people, you start to give it. Try simply being more loving. Be creative and see if you can find ways to love more fully or completely. Otherwise, even if millions or billions of people love you, you will not, again, feel that love. Here's another one. I want people to listen to me. Have you ever felt like that? Like people don't listen to you, or no one listens to you, you're never heard really, you're never understood completely. Or how about this one, respect? What about no one respects me? Or I want more respect. Or my boss doesn't appreciate me. Or my children don't appreciate me. My family doesn't appreciate what I do. Have you ever felt like that? So again, these are things, these are desires that many of us have. And one way of thinking of them is like a calling, a spiritual calling for us to begin giving these things, sharing these things with others. If we value these things, then we're being called to share that, to go first, right? I think Gandhi put it this way: be the change in the world that you want to see. And so this is one way of interpreting that. How do you manifest and be what it is that you most deeply covet and desire from other people in the world? What if instead of expecting or demanding these things of other people, you focus on ways that you can give these things? What about money? So have you ever wondered why, like, super rich people, they just go on amassing more and more money? They just want more and more money. I mean, how much is enough, right? So they've done some studies on wealth, and they show that after about $80,000 in annual income, more money doesn't really impact happiness. Up to about that point, it can impact your sense of happiness and freedom. You can start doing certain things, but it kind of caps out at about $80,000 a year. So why do people go on just, trying to get more and more wealth, even though it's not really impacting their happiness anymore? In fact, it might start to go in the other direction. Well, I'm going to suggest that they do this because they're trying to satisfy a spiritual need physically. And it's just not possible to do that. If instead of focusing on amassing more and more money, they would instead focus on sharing abundance, sharing wealth, then I think they would find that their hunger for abundance and for wealth is satisfied very quickly. And if you look at some people who did live lives of abundance and wealth, you find some of them, I think, eventually understand this, and they set up charities and foundations later in life, and they begin focusing on how they can redistribute the wealth that they amassed. And perhaps in doing that, I don't know because I've never talked with them personally, but perhaps in doing that, they finally realize the hunger, they satisfy the hunger that they are looking to satisfy by amassing all of that wealth. So I'm going to give us part 2 on this, where we go a little more into the spiritual side of it. But I'd like you to consider that and think about ways that you can, what is it that you really want? What is it that you really desire? And how can you find ways of giving that? And there's a spiritual law that we're going to talk about in part 2. And that by giving that, you actually receive what it is that you're really wanting. And from a spiritual perspective, this is the only way to really receive it. So again, as I said, you can have fame, you can have millions of people who think they love you, you can have wealth, but you will not feel wealthy, you will not feel loved, okay? So again, a mother who really loves her children may feel more love than a rock star or a superstar who is loved by millions of people. And again, I'm not saying that the love that those fans have for that person isn't real, but that person just will not feel it. They will not be able to receive it because they aren't giving it necessarily. Okay, they might have a lot of talent, they might be giving value to people, and they may be giving love in a way through their art, but this is a little bit of a different thing I'm talking about here, really on a personal level, on a moment by moment level, giving the love that we want to receive, giving the abundance, sharing in the abundance, sharing in the wealth, finding ways to do that. And I don't necessarily mean giving away money, although that might be it too. But we all are abundant in different ways. Some people have abundance of wealth, some people have abundance in knowledge, some people have abundance in love or care, some people have gifts like for healing. And so again, if we are seeking abundance, there are things that we can give to show our abundance and to share our abundance. And this is the only way we're going to get or feel or experience abundance for ourselves. All right, everyone, I hope to see you in part 2. Until then, namaste and have a great day.